When I was young, my family lived overseas. I lived in Indonesia for a few years, and my mother, she didn't have the money to send me where all the American kids went to school. But she thought it was important for me to keep up with American education. So she decided to teach me extra lessons herself, Monday through Friday. But because he had to go to work, the only time he could do it was at 4:30 in the morning. But whenever I complained, my mother would just give me one of those looks, and she says, "This is no picnic for me either, Buster." So I know that some of you are still adjusting to become back at school. But I'm here today because I have something important to discuss with you. My father left my family when I was 2 years old. And I was raised by a single mom who had to work and who struggled at times to pay the bills and wasn't always be able to give us the things that other kids had. There were times when I missed having a father in my life. There were times when I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been on school, and I did something that I'm not proud of, and I got in more trouble than I should have. And my life could have easily taken a turn for worse. But I was lucky. I got a lot of second chances. Follow my dreams. My wife, our First Lady, Michelle Obama, she has a similar story. Neither of her parents had gone to the college, and they didn't have a lot of money. But they worked hard, and she worked hard so that she could go to the best schools in this country. But some of you might not have those advantages, but you have just adults in your life who give you support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost their job and there's not enough money to go around. Maybe you live in a neighborhood where you don't feel safe, or have friends who have pressure bring you to do things you know aren't right. Maybe you could be a great writer, maybe even good enough to write a book or articles in a newspaper, but you might not know it until you write that English paper. The English class paper that assigns to you. Maybe you could be an innovator or an inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone, or even a new medicine or vaccine. But you may not know it until you do your project, your science class. Maybe you could be a mayor, or a senator or Supreme Court justice. But you may not know that until you join student government or debate team. No matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee that you need an education to do it. You want to be a doctor or a teacher or a police officer. You want to be a nurse or an architect, a lawyer or a member of our military. You're going to need a good education for every single one of those careers. You cannot drop out of school. Just drop into a good job. You got to take the chance for it, and work for it, and learn for it. And this isn't just important for your own life and your own future. What you make up your education will decide, nothing less than the future of this country. The future of America depends on you. What you're learning in today will determine whether we as a nation can meet our greatest challenges in the future. You need the knowledge and problem-solving skills. You learn in science and math to cure diseases like cancer or AIDS, to develop new emergencies, to protect the environment. You need the insights and critical thinking skills You get in history or social studies to fight poverty and homelessness, crime and discrimination, and make your nation more fair and more free. You need the creativity and ingenuity to develop all our classes to build new companies, like we create new jobs and boost our economy. You need every single one of you to develop your talents and your skills and your intellect, so you can help us all folks solve our most difficult problems. If you don't do that, if you quit on school, you're not just quitting on the country, you're quitting on the country. for civil rights and put a man on the moon. Students who said where you sit 20 years ago, who founded Google, Twitter, and Facebook and changed the way we communicate with each other. So today I want to ask all of you, what's your contribution going to be? What problems are you going to solve? What discoveries will you make? What will a president who comes here in 20 or 50 or 100 years say about all of you did for this country? Now your families, your teachers, and I are doing everything we can do to make sure you have the education you need to answer these questions. I'm working hard to fix up your classrooms and get your books and equipment and the computers you need to learn. But you have to do your part too. So I expect all of you to get serious this year. I expect you to put your best efforts into everything you do. I expect great things from each of you. So don't let us down. Don't let your family down. Don't let your country down. Most of all, don't let yourself down. Make us all proud.